Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we are talking about something that is extremely relevant to a huge number of English learners around the world. How do you learn English effectively when you do not have a teacher, when you cannot afford classes, when there are no schools near you, when your schedule does not allow it, or when you simply prefer to learn on your own terms?
Yes, and I want to say right away that learning without a teacher is absolutely possible. Some of the most fluent non-native English speakers in the world are self-taught. They built their fluency through smart, consistent, self-directed learning. And today, we're going to show you exactly how they did it and how you can do the same.
In fact, there are some advantages to learning without a teacher. You can go at your own pace, you can focus on what you need, you can learn at any time that suits you, you can choose content that genuinely interests you, and you are developing one of the most valuable skills in the modern world, which is the ability to teach yourself.
So let us go through the most effective methods, tools, and habits for learning English without a teacher.
The foundation of everything is input. Input means receiving English, reading it, listening to it, watching it, experiencing it. Before you can produce language, you need to absorb a massive amount of it. This is how children learn, not through grammar lessons, through enormous amounts of hearing and seeing the language in context.
And the key word in that is context. Words and grammar patterns learned in context stick far better than words learned from a list. When you read a word in a sentence that makes you feel something, that surprises you, that makes you laugh or think, that word stays with you.
So the first method is extensive reading. Read as much English as you possibly can. Start at the right level. If you are a beginner, read simple stories, graded readers, children's books in English. If you are intermediate, read news articles, blogs, short stories. If you are advanced, read novels, essays, serious journalism.
The goal of extensive reading is to read a lot without stopping constantly to look up every word. Try to understand the meaning from context. If a word appears many times and you keep not understanding it, then look it up. Otherwise, keep reading and trust that repeated exposure will build your vocabulary naturally.
There are graded readers available at every level. These are books written specifically for English learners, with vocabulary controlled for your level. They're an excellent starting point. The Oxford Bookworm series and the Penguin Reader series are widely available and excellent quality.
The second method is extensive listening. Just as reading builds your written comprehension, listening builds your ear for the language. And for speaking fluency, listening is actually even more important than reading.
Listen to English every day. Podcasts, YouTube, films, television series, music, news programs, audiobooks. The options are enormous and most of them are free.
Start with content that has clear, slow speech. News broadcasts often have clearer pronunciation than casual conversation. Then, gradually expose yourself to faster, more natural speech. Your ear will adapt. It takes time, but it absolutely happens.
The key is to listen to things you actually find interesting. If you love cooking, watch cooking shows in English. If you love sport, listen to sports commentary and podcasts. If you love travel, watch travel vlogs. Interest keeps you coming back.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything. Even understanding 40 or 50% is building your ear. The percentage grows with exposure. Keep going.
The third method is active vocabulary building, not memorizing lists, but building vocabulary actively through connection and use.
Here's the method. When you encounter a new word, write it down in a sentence, not just the word and its meaning, the whole sentence you found it in. This gives you the context and the grammar pattern together with the meaning.
Then try to use the word yourself within 24 hours. Write a sentence with it. Say it out loud. Find a way to connect it to your own life. The more you engage with a new word, the more solidly it enters your long-term memory.
Use spaced repetition. This is a method backed by neuroscience. You review new vocabulary at increasing intervals. Today, tomorrow, in 3 days, in a week, in 2 weeks. Apps like Anki are built on this principle, and they're very effective for vocabulary retention.
And aim for depth over breadth. Knowing 500 words really well, knowing how to use them in different contexts, knowing their collocations and common phrases is more valuable than half knowing 5,000 words.
The fourth method is speaking practice alone. This surprises many learners. How do you practice speaking without another person?
You talk to yourself, in your room, in the shower, on your commute if you're alone. Narrate your day. Describe what you're doing. Think out loud in English. Comment on what you're watching. Read out loud from books and articles.
This is not as strange as it sounds. It's actually extremely effective for several reasons. It forces you to produce language rather than just consume it. It trains the muscles in your mouth and throat for English sounds, and it builds the habit of thinking in English rather than translating from your native language.
Another solo speaking method is shadowing. You listen to a native speaker say something and you immediately repeat it, trying to copy the rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation as closely as possible. This is used by professional language learners and actors who need to learn accents.
Find a short audio clip of clear English speech. Listen to one sentence, pause, repeat it as closely as possible. Focus on the sounds, the stress, the rhythm. Listen again, repeat again. This trains your ear and your mouth simultaneously.
The fifth method is writing practice. Writing forces you to use the language actively. It shows you exactly where your grammar gaps are, and it builds accuracy in a way that speaking alone cannot always do.
Keep a journal in English. Write about your day. Write about what you think, what you feel, what you did, what you plan. Start with a few sentences if you're a beginner. Work up to paragraphs.
You can also write to yourself. Write imaginary letters to friends. Describe pictures or scenes. Summarize things you read or watched in English. The content doesn't matter. What matters is that you are producing written English regularly.
And you can find writing partners or communities online. Language exchange apps and websites let you write to native speakers who are learning your language. They correct your writing and you correct theirs. This gives you real feedback without needing a formal teacher.
The sixth method is using technology smartly. We live in an extraordinary time for self-directed language learning. The tools available today were unimaginable 20 years ago.
For structured grammar learning, there are excellent free resources. Websites like British Council Learn English and Cambridge English Online offer clear grammar explanations and exercises. YouTube has thousands of English teaching channels with millions of free lessons.
For pronunciation, you can use voice technology. Record yourself saying words or sentences. Play it back. Compare it to how native speakers say the same thing. Many phones and apps now have voice recognition that can tell you if they understand what you said.
For conversation practice, there are AI tools that can have conversations with you in English and give feedback on your grammar and vocabulary. These are not perfect, but they are genuinely useful for building confidence before speaking with real people.
For finding native speaker content at your level, there are apps that take authentic content like news articles and YouTube videos and add subtitles, translations, and vocabulary support. Language Reactor for YouTube and apps like Link are excellent examples.
The seventh method is creating your English environment. Self-learners who make the most progress are not just those who study English. They are those who live in English as much as possible, even without being in an English-speaking country.
Change your phone language to English. Change your social media to English. Follow English-speaking accounts about topics you love. Think in English when you can. Name objects around your home in English. When you look at a chair, think chair, not the word in your native language.
This constant low-level exposure is what bridges the gap between study sessions. Language learning happens not just in dedicated study time, but in all the moments between.
Now, let me talk about structure and planning, because self-directed learning can easily become scattered and ineffective without some organization.
Set a realistic daily target. Even 15 focused minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Consistency is everything in language learning. The brain needs regular contact with the language to build and maintain the pathways.
Have a plan. Know what you're working on this week. Are you focusing on vocabulary, a particular grammar point, reading comprehension, listening? Divide your time between input activities like reading and listening and output activities like speaking to yourself and writing.
Track your progress. Keep a simple log of what you did each day. Note new words you learned. Note something you understood that you would not have understood a month ago. These records are motivating, and they also show you patterns, what is working and what is not.
Review regularly. Every week, look back at what you studied. Test yourself. Can you remember those new words? Can you use those grammar structures? Review prevents the forgetting that happens when you just keep moving forward without looking back.
Now, let me talk about the common mistakes self-learners make, because knowing these helps you avoid them.
Mistake number 1 is studying grammar in isolation without using it. Spending hours reading grammar rules and doing grammar exercises, but never trying to actually write or speak using those structures. Grammar must be used to be learned.
Mistake number 2 is not getting enough input, spending all your learning time on exercises and not enough time simply absorbing vast amounts of English. Input is the foundation. Without it, nothing else works as well.
Mistake number 3 is only consuming English without producing it, only reading and listening but never writing or speaking. Production is what builds fluency. You must use the language actively.
Mistake number 4 is studying English rather than using English. There is a difference between working through a textbook and actually engaging with real English. Both are useful, but learners who only do textbook work miss the natural patterns of real language.
Mistake number 5 is not connecting with other learners or speakers. Self-directed learning does not have to be completely isolated learning. Language exchange platforms, online communities, forums all give you human connection and real feedback.
Mistake number 6 is giving up after a plateau. Every learner hits a phase where progress feels invisible. The vocabulary is not growing as fast, comprehension feels stuck. This is normal, and it's temporary. The progress is happening underground. Keep going.
Mistake number 7 is not celebrating small wins. Self-learners have no teacher to give them positive feedback, so they must give it to themselves. Notice when you understand something you couldn't before. Notice when you express an idea in English that you couldn't express before. Those moments are real progress. Acknowledge them.
Now, let me give you a sample weekly plan for a self-directed learner to show what this can look like in practice.
Monday, 30 minutes reading an article or chapter. Note 5 new words. Write sentences with 2 of them.
Tuesday, 30 minutes listening to a podcast or watching a video. Write a short summary of what you understood.
Wednesday, 20 minutes speaking to yourself. Describe your week so far out loud in English. 30 minutes reading.
Thursday, 30 minutes listening. Review the vocabulary from Monday.
Friday, write a short journal entry about your week. Practice shadowing for 10 minutes.
Saturday, longer reading session. Read something you enjoy. Don't stop to analyze, just read and enjoy.
Sunday, review everything from the week. Test yourself on vocabulary. Listen to something enjoyable, rest, and enjoy the language.
That plan uses less than 4 hours per week total, spread across 7 days. Consistent contact with the language without burning out.
Before we close, I want to say something directly to anyone who's been thinking they can't learn English without a teacher.
You can. People all over the world have done it, are doing it right now, and they did it with exactly the methods we talked about today. Reading, listening, speaking to themselves, writing, using technology, surrounding themselves with English.
The resources have never been more available. The tools have never been better. The only thing that's truly required is your decision to start and your commitment to keep going.
And you have already started. You're here. You're listening to this. That means you're already on the path.
Keep walking it. Every day a little further. And one day you'll look back and be amazed at how far you have come.
Thank you so much for being here today. We hope this gives you a real and practical roadmap for learning English on your own. You don't need a teacher. You need a plan and the courage to follow it.
Keep going, and we'll see you in the next episode.